All right, so you're gonna want to go to the course, and if you scroll down on lectures, you'll see midterm practice. Rather than writing down the questions, I'm gonna do it from there on the paper. And then we'll walk through the practice for the computer portion as well.
With mouse stuff. It's like not scrolling.
Then change computers.
Where's the midterm exam?
It's in the module section. It says midterm. Midterm spring 23 practice. When you get to it, it should look like this. But for me to be able to show you what I'm doing, I'm going to switch it back over to the projector. So. Give everyone a second to get there. Looks like the mouse doesn't work that well there.
Yeah, it was, when I scrolled, it wasn't even moving. It was moving up instead of down. But like,
Give everyone a couple more minutes to get here. And we'll run right through it. Where's Herlinda? She's not here. Lightheaded. She's got really lightheaded. Sucks.
are you still sick?
I don't think so. I thought it was on Friday. I ended up thinking it was allergies because I had such major sneezing going on. But then my wife caught it, and she doesn't have allergies, so I know that wasn't it. Might have been both. I keep my distance to everybody over here on Tulare. No one ever gets within 10 feet of me. We're in Visalia though. I go over there for some stuff, and people get close, and that's the only spot I get close to anybody. I don't go shopping. We do like Instacart for lazy fucks. When you make enough money to pay someone else to grocery shop for you, feels good. And
Walmart Plus.
What?
Walmart Plus. It's like a.
My wife does that too. Yeah, she does that too. She orders some stuff for pickup at Walmart, some stuff with Instacart. For Foods Co, for Save Mart sometimes. She's even done grocery outlet. But not a lot of Instacart shoppers want to go to grocery outlet. I think they try to multitask, like do more than one customer at a time. I'm sure they do because they fucked up our orders before. I've gotten shit that I didn't order, and I didn't get shit that was on the receipt, so it went to someone else. But I don't think a lot of people shop at grocery outlets, so people aren't doing it there. All right, so Herlina, we are looking at the practice midterm. It is on It's in Canvas. Under course modules, if you just scroll down to lecture notes, click on that. Fuck, I'm getting even more lightheaded. What the hell's going on?
Some water.
I did. I need to breathe. Apparently, I'm not breathing up here. That's what we're working on. So let's just start going through them. So this is the paper portion of the midterm. Step one, it says identify as categorical, discrete, or continuous. So 1A is the gallons of water. Gallons are something that we measure. Anything we measure is continuous. Color of a hot air balloon. Color, I can't put numbers to. Well, if we do it in a computer, I could put numbers to it, but in general, we don't. So anything that just comes with non-numbers is always going to be categorical. Number of socks owned. If I can count it, it's discrete. One, two, three, four, that kind of counting. It makes no sense to have a third of a sock. So anything that comes in whole numbers. And points scored in a football game. That is going to be discrete. It is also something we count. That's it for number one. Number two, I'll wait. Just the three that are listed. Doesn't need to say qualitative or quantitative. Ready for more? All right, number two is on travel times for a group. There are 9 students. It talks about the travel time to class. And I'm going to want to find the mean, the median, and the range. For these numbers. I'm going to rearrange them in order now, just so I can, it's going to help me with the two of them already. So I'm going to rearrange them and cross them off as I do it.
I'm pretty sure this was the 48.
Yeah, that 28 says 38.
No, there's 2
on
things.
paper. Instead of 28.
Thank you. As I put some up there, I'm going to cross it off. Let's see, the next lowest is 24. And then a 25. And a 33. And then 2/38. And a 45. All right, so I got them in order. I don't need them in order to do the mean, but they help to do in order. You need them in order for the median, and it kind of helps to do them in order with the range. So, mean, there are 9. There's a total of 9 of them. So what we're going to do for the mean is add those bad boys up and divide by 9. So I'm getting 233, and then I divide that by 9. And I'm getting 25.88888. Just 25.8 bar. If you feel like rounding it, round to 2 decimal places. Now let's do round to 4 decimal places. Do 4 decimal places. So that's the mean. The range is part C. I'm going to do that real quick though. The range is the highest minus lowest. 45 minus 7 is 38. That's part C. And then for part B, to find the median, I'm just gonna cross them off, going outwards, working towards the center. 7 and 45 cross off, 11 and 38 cross off, 12 and 38 cross off, 24 and 33 cross off. All left in the center for the median is 25. If there's 2 numbers in the center, let's say 25 and 29. Add them up and divide by 2. You guys ready for the next problem?
On the Wi-Fi, wait. It's live,
the Larry Putt works. You have to log in. Just regular COS should work. I don't know, I'm not logging in with a laptop. Fucking PC is glitching on me. Is it this thing powered off? Is that why? So, you guys see the little dots on the fucking screen moving around? It's like fucking me up when I. Actually have it downloaded, so where's my downloads? What the hell?
Why should we start it?
Did that already? Are you gonna make me fucking use this piece of shit? Oh, is that what you're trying to do? You're trying to make me use that, aren't you? And so I fucking said that I wanted to make it. There we go. Now I can use it.
The spots are a trip.
Yeah, and it's fucking, it keeps closing my browser. So I don't know that I'm gonna be able to do the MyMathLab portion. I might have to record it on Zoom tonight. At home. We'll see if it works. All right, back to this portion for now. Fucking piece of shit. Just randomly close everything that was on my desktop, everything. I've logged in to everything I wanted, just bam. So that was number 2. Oh, it says find the range of the sample or the mean of the sample. When you do the mean of a sample, you actually divide by n-1. I thought I was treating it as a population. But n was 9, we're supposed to do divided by, we want divided by n-1.
This is 2A, right?
Yeah, this is for 2A, for samples.
Mine says mean travel time.
Just the range says.
Am I tripping out in my head?
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's mean travel time, and the C says find the range of this sample.
We'll just leave it at that. Fuck it, we'll leave it at the two with where it is. We're starting number 3. All right. So I have a table here. It says 0 to, let's see, I'm just gonna put the numbers for now. And it says the total is 52. And it says to find the create a relative frequency distribution. We can write the answers in the column above. To do that, we just divide each of these values by the total. So 13 divided by 52 goes here. 17 divided by 52 goes here. Let's do it to 4 decimal places. Unless they're zeros and you don't need them. Like 13 into 52 goes 4 times, or divides evenly 4 times. So this should be 0.25. I do the rest. Seventeen divided by 52. Twelve divided by 52. So I just divided by the total. Each value on the list divided by the total. I
You
get,
don't have to round it just to the 4th decimal.
yeah, rounded to the 4th decimal place. See what the next part says. It says create a histogram. So histograms are graphs. And it looks like if I use the lower class limits on each thing, this is 5,000, 10,000, 15,000, 20,000, 25,000, and 30,000. I don't know that I made these even widths, but kind of close. It looks like my tallest, my biggest number here is 0.32. So maybe I can go up by 0.5. So that's 0.1, that's 0.2, that's 0.3. The first box for the 0 to 4,999 is right here. It goes up to 0.25. Histograms, remember the boxes touch, which makes it a little bit easier. 0.3269 is above the 0.3, but below the next one, maybe right there. Point 2308 should be a little bit below the 0.25. Point 1538 is way down here. Flat line for right here, 0.0. And then just a slight bump, little tiny rectangle for 0.0385. That's right there. That disappeared and then I went. All right, problem number 4. A new car is available in 15 different colors. It's got 2 different engine sizes. Five interiors. And we want to know the number of ways it can be customized. This was like when we did the lecture, it was like the different meals that you can make. You just multiply the values together. Number 5. Number 5 says the Honor Society has 20 members. And we want to find the ways you can select Pres, Vice Pres, Treasurer, or Secretary. So this is where we're doing choices from a list. We have the option of permutations or combinations. Permutations is where order matters. Combinations is where order doesn't matter. Here, order kind of matters. If you pick the president, that person can't be the vice president. So they're not available to be the vice president anymore. So we should use permutations for this. So we'll use permutations. My N is my 20. And R is the number of positions. There are 4 slots. So R is 4. If you have a calculator, that should fit into it nicely. Otherwise, you're gonna end up with 20 factorial over 20 minus 4 factorial. Which is 20 times 19 times 18 times 17. I think my calculator has a factorial, so I'm going to use it. That is not what. Oh, put it in the calculator wrong. Did not do 20p5. I did 20p. I did 20p5, not 20p4. This is 116,280. Number 6 is on the Powerball. You do 5 numbers in the range of 1 to 69, and then one more number from 1 to 26. Now, since it doesn't matter which order we pick the balls for these, this is going to be combinations. And we started with 69 and we're choosing 5 of them. And then this one, I'm only picking one ball out of 26 options. I have 26 different choices. This 26 is actually the same as 26 choose 1. Get you the same value, believe it or not. So we're doing the same thing. But what is 69 choose 5? $69 choose 5 is 11,238,513, and then I got to multiply by 26. $292,201,338. Just fucking close mine. And it says find the probability. The probability of winning is 1 over that. Your calculator should spit out a scientific number. If you leave it as that fraction, I'll be fine. So this is what answers the question. Ready for more? Okay. Take a look at number 7. This is 15 red balls, 9 white, and 4 blue. Says a ball is drawn, and then without putting it back, a second ball is drawn. So what is the part A is the probability that the first ball is red? Say that again? That's correct. How'd you get that? How'd you get it? That's correct.
Oh, because there are fixed ball.
Yeah. There's 28 total balls, so if you add them up. So the total is 28, and the ones that are red are 15, so it's what we're looking for on top over total on bottom. Then it says the second ball is red or blue, given that the first ball is red. Given that the first ball equals red. Yes. But there's a little more to it. We have to do that the probability of the first ball drawn is red. You're right, though. There's 4 blue balls, there's 27 left. So this is really the probability that the first is red and second is blue. And the and turns into multiplication. First equals red, we already did, 15 over 28. Second, there's second ball being blue, there's 4 blue balls. There's 27 balls left. So we're multiplying those two fractions. So this is I'm getting 0.0794 if I round. It says we get one red ball and we get one right ball. This is part C. This actually has two outcomes. The first equals red and second equals white. Or first equals white and second one equals red. So the or turns into a plus sign. And we've got 15 over 28 times 9 over 27 plus 9 over 28 times 15 over 27. You're right. On B, I actually don't have it worded where it's an and. On B, the way it's worded doesn't have that part. It's just what is the probability that the second ball is blue? If the first ball is red. Given that the first ball is red, there's only 27 balls left. 4 of them are blue. It should be 4 over 27. The way it's worded. I don't think that's what I meant, but that's what I have on there, and I want the actual midterm to be similar to that. I'll be having something similar to that on there. This one is worded correctly. C is worded the way I meant. So what are those outcomes? You have 5 over 28 for each one. I could see that, yeah. Which means 10 over 28. What is 10 over 28? $0.3571. Oh, I did 5 divided by 28, or 10 divided by 28. Let me try 5 divided by 28. You shouldn't round until the end.
Okay. The one.
So it should be what I have up here. Round at the end. All right, number 8. Yes. Oh, this number isn't right. It says 76 at the top. It should say 110 or 110 students. Assuming that all adds up still. Yeah, that adds up to 50. Yeah. All right, so it says find the probability that the student is a sophomore or prefers blue. So we want the probability that the student is a sophomore, plus the probability that they prefer blue. But that's going to double count things. We want minus the probability that they're a sophomore and blue. So for sophomores, there are 55 sophomores out of 110 students. There are 16 students that prefer blue out of 110 students. And exactly 7 of them are sophomores that prefer blue. This ends up being 64 over 110. .0545. That's part A. Part B is freshman or black. So the probability that are freshmen plus the probability that are prefer black minus the probability of both. So there's 55 freshmen. The number of students that prefer black is 28. And exactly 12 of those students are freshmen. Six, 4, 5. And C says, find the probability that they're a freshman given that they preferred red or blue. So the total number of students that preferred red or blue is 16 plus 27, which is 43. And the number of them that are freshmen are 9 plus 12, which is 21. So this is 21 over 43. Yeah.
That's.
That doesn't look right, does it?
Just 0.6.
Yeah, mine is off, sorry. I round up. You're right, A is off. I fucking did not hit all the buttons. Let's try that again. That is 64 over 110. But this part was not right. This is 0.5818. Thank you.
You get the 8. 0.5818.
I divided 64 by 110.
I got 0.581.
There's more numbers after it. All right, number 9. There's a probability distribution table. The first question is find the probability that X is greater than 2. Which means I'm only looking at the probability that X equals 3 or 4. Which is 0.270 plus 0.089. Zero 0.359. We don't want to include the 2 there. Second group. Probability that 1 is less than X, which is less than or equal to 3. Means what I'm looking at is it can't be the 1, but it can be the 2 or the 3. So I'm adding those 2 values together. Then it says find the mean of the probability distribution. This is where you multiply all the values and add them up. So mu of X is 0 times 0.069 plus 1 times 0.180 plus 2 times 0.392 plus 3 times 0.270 plus 4 times 0.089. Let's just see what I get for each one. That one's a 0. That one's kind of easy. So 0.180. 0.392 times 2. This is 0.784. 3 times that should be 0.81. And 4 times that is 4. 6. So I'm going to just add these all up. Ten, 21. 2.130. The probability adds to 1, but the mean doesn't. I have this. Yeah, I'm getting 2.13 when I do the calculator too. No. Guys ready for number 10? Nope, Herlin is still right. All right, number 10. The reading speed of 6th graders is approximately normal with a mean of 132. And a standard deviation of 26. What's the probability that a student can read 158 or higher? Just reading the stuff that's on the computer in front of you. I haven't done anything yet, but it's better you let me know now, or I have half the page off the screen. So use the empirical role model. So this is the empirical rule model. We add 26 as we go to the right. Wait, what? Yeah, that's what's off. Thank you. I'm like, I'm not going to get a number that works here. What the hell is going on? And going the other way, you subtract it. And let's just break down what's in each group. So both of these regions are 34%. Both of these regions are 13.5%. The third region out is 2.35%. And finally, 0.15 between the two, or 0.15 each. So we want probability that X is greater than 158. We're looking at these three values. %. As a probability, it's 0.16. Are you going to let me use StatCrunch? Okay. Assignments. Midterm review in person. I'm going to switch over to that. I'm in my assignment list. Let's hope this all works. Open up StatCrunch ahead of time. Just to make sure I got another window open with it, just in case I want it. And I'll say yes, let's start the test. So it says compute the range and sample standard deviation for the strength of the concrete. Gives me a bunch of numbers. I want to find range and sample standard deviation. I can just do this in StatCrunch. Stats, summary stats, columns. And I'm going to tell it standard deviation and range. And it gives me the values. It says round to 1 decimal place. For me, that'd be 478.1. And that's not what I typed, because I am up here fat fingering the keyboard. All right. Stats, summary stats, columns. I will check my answer. And it says, all right, I didn't check my answers to that test, so it's not gonna tell me I'm right or wrong. Identify the shape of the distribution and determine the 5-number summary. So I will close that. Let's see. So the right side is much longer than the left side. This middle line is the median. And there's a lot more to the right than there is to the left, so this looks like it's skewed right. The 5-number summary is where the lowest number is a 0. Where the box starts, which looks like it's at a 2. Where the median is, which is at a 4. Where this box is at 8. And this right here, it looks like it's 3 down from 20. So 17. See if I count the other way, if I get 17 also. 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17. Yeah, that looks like a 17. There's nothing on StatCrunch to do there. This is a calculator thing, actually. So the probability of obtaining 11 heads in a row is I'm on number 3. Everyone's going to have different values there, so it shouldn't change, but the methodology stays the same. It's 1/2 to the 11th power. I gotta figure out what that is in a calculator. Four, 8, 8, 2, 8. And I gotta go back 3. And they want me to do 5 decimal places. So 0.00049. Oh, that's up here. If that event is repeated 10,000 different times, I can just multiply that result by 10,000. And rounding to the nearest whole number, I get 5. So this was that 4.9. But when I round to the nearest whole number, which is what it tells me to do, I get a 5. An investment counselor calls with a hot stock tip. He believes if the economy remains strong, the investment will result in a profit of 40. If it grows at a moderate pace, the profit's of 20. And if we go into a recession, it's a loss of 40. And it gives percentages for each of them. So let's write out what we've got for this one right here. That's what I have. I've got, so I'm gonna write down the values while you're looking at my screen over here, and then I'll switch over. What?
Oh, they're all gonna, okay.
They're all the same category. They're not necessarily gonna have the same words.
Okay.
There's only 20 questions for the midterm.
Yep. So if I translate this investment one into a table, I get this. And mine asks what the expected profit is, which is just the average. So we're doing the same thing we did with the babies one on the other thing. We're going to multiply these together. So multiply, and then we're going to add them up. So 40,000 times 0.2 is 8,000. 20,000 times 0.6 is 12,000. And negative 40,000 and 0.2 is negative 8,000. So that just adds up to 12,000. That is the expected profit. So you might have a slightly different word problem, but it should be something, and it might be in a different order. I don't know if they're in different order or not. I tried to make sure on the midterm review they're in the same order, but there's a chance that it's not. Oh, here I am putting in the letter O rather than zeros. It might be one of the ones coming up for me. They might be in a different order.
Oh, okay.
So, number 5 for me says a binomial experiment. It says n equals 10, p equals 0.1, and x is less than or equal to 4. This is definitely a stat crunch thing. I'm going to go to stats, calculators, and binomial. If it's a binomial experiment, we're going to use a binomial probability calculator. And look at your specific one and after that we're done, but let's get through what I've got up here first. Okay?
I'll take the wrong one. She took-
Oh, you're on the wrong one?
Yeah, I wasn't totally different.
So I'm going to do the binomial calculator. I've got n equals 10. It says put in p equals 0.1. It says probability that x is less than or equal to 4. And my symbol matches. I got to make sure it does match what they have. I'm going to click compute. I will copy that answer over and put it in my window here. And I want it to 4 decimal places. The 5 decimal places is that. So the 6 tells me to round this 3 up to a 4. The next one is suppose that a recent poll, 48% of adults believe the overall state of moral values is poor. For 100 randomly selected individuals, compute the mean and standard deviation of the random variable x. The number of adults who believe the overall state of moral values is poor. So for this, this is the 48% poll. Says poor moral values. And it says out of 100 randomly selected adults. So I have n equals 100. The mean is n times p. And the standard deviation is the square root of n times p times 1 minus p. This is just 48. I'm doing that wrong. I'm sure of it. I'm getting ahead of myself. Let me double check something real quick. Yeah, this is a binomial, so this meets the binomial stuff. I am right. So n times p is 100 times 0.48. So we get the 48. This is the square root of n times p, I just did. I'm gonna put that right there. And 1 minus p is 1 minus 0.48. So I gotta take the square root after doing that. And when I do that, I'm getting 4.995998399. Let's see what the problem's actually asking when I go down the list. So I'm going to go back over to the computer and put mine in. The mean was x times p of x, which was 48. The standard deviation rounded to the nearest tenth was 5.0. For every 100 adult, let's see. What the mean is what we expect. So for every 100 adults, the mean is the number of them that would be expected to be believed that the overall state of moral values is poor. It's not the range, it's not the maximum, and it's not the minimum. It's the average, or what we would expect. Finally, it says, would it be unusual if 42 of the adults surveyed believe that the overall state of moral values is poor? This is a binomial calculator. We can use a binomial problem. We can put this in here. There was n was 100. Let's see. The percent that thinks it's poor is 0.48. And I am looking at 42 or less. It says exactly 42. I hope it doesn't do something stupid like that. The way it's worded is exactly 42, but it's usually 42 or less. So it could be going with this value. We'll find out with what happens when I turn my grade in. You'll find out one way or another. I think it's the whole one, the less than or equal to. This is above 0.05. So unusual is below 0.05. This is not unusual. If I get that part wrong, it means that they wanted exactly 42, which was below. If I switch that to equal, that is below 0.05. That would be unusual. So the wording here is a little poor. But we won't know till I'm done. The next one says this follows a Poisson distribution. So we will use the stats calculator's Poisson. And lambda is the rate, T is the time. The mean is lambda times T. So for Poisson, the mean is lambda times T. For me, that is 0.14 times 13. I'm getting 1.82. All right, so. And standard deviation while I'm here, because it looks like I'm going to need it. StatCrunch shows me needing it. Standard deviation is the square root of lambda T, which is the square root of 1.82. I don't know what that is. I'll find out and write it down real quick. .3490737. I don't think they'll want me to use more than that many decimal places, but we'll find out. So I have my mean, I have my standard deviation, and go back to the computer and work with those. All I need to do is put in the mean for now. The mean was 1.82. And it says the probability that it's 4. So I need to change this to equals, change this to 4, and just click compute. It says round to 4 decimal places as needed. I'm just going to copy the whole thing over and then round there. One, 2, 3, 4 is the 0 right here is the 4th decimal place. The 7 tells me to round it up to a 1. Then I want less than 4. And I'm getting 0.81. The problems with the computer speed up quite a bit if you know what you're putting in. Probably the x is greater than or equal to 4. I can change it to that. I got 0.1119. It says between 5 and 9 for the next one. And it's got the equal sign, so I'm including those. I'm not rounding up. mu of x we did was 1.82. That's how we calculated this. Standard deviation was the square root of that. Also, or to 3 decimal places, 1.349. All right. What is the probability that the state will not be hit by any major hurricanes? All right, we've done the hurricane one before in class. We'll do it again here. We need to find the rate. We need to find the mean. So for the hurricane problem, the mean is the number of storms divided by the number of years. In my problem, I have 21 over 112. So that's what I'm going to use in my calculations. It's going to follow a Poisson distribution, which it tells us in the problem. That's my mean, though. So I just divided the number of storms by the number of years. And now I got to do that over here. So my mean was the 0.1875. And I want the probability that X equals 0. High, 0.8290. And it says the probability will be hit by at least one. At least one means greater than or equal to 1. .17097. If I round that, it goes up. The 9's got to go up to a 10. So I'm going to have 1710. If I round that to 4 decimal places. Is this unusual? That is not below 0.05, so it is not unusual. Then it says at least 3 major hurricanes. We're here and we'll change this again. And if I do that to 4 decimal places, it rounds up to 0010. That is less than 0.05, so that is unusual. Then it asks about 2. It's just getting a little repetitive, checking all the values. Still 4 decimal places. That's a below 0.505 again. So this is also unusual. Getting hit by more than 1 hurricane seems unusual.
So unusual is more than 5, right?
Less than 0.05. It needs to be rare. If it's more than 0.5, it happens 0.05, it happens 95% of the time. That's not rare. You want something that doesn't happen very often. The number of chocolate chips in an 18-ounce bag of chocolate chip cookies is approximately normally distributed with a mean of 1,252 chips and a standard deviation of 129. What is the probability that a randomly selected bag contains between 1,000 and 1,500? It tells me it's normally distributed, so I can use the normal calculator. Stats calculator is normal. Gives me the mean at 1,252. Standard deviation is 129. And I'm doing between 1,000 and 1,500. And it says to 4 decimal places. The probability that a random selected bag contains fewer than 1,025 Just copying and pasting from the answer box. Then it says more than 1225. That's going to have me round up. So I'm going to change that 8 to a 9. And then it wants to know percentile rank is the less than sign. It says less than 1,000. And for percentile, you need to move the decimal place by 2. So I'll kind of copy over here what I'm doing. I'm putting it there. I'm going to get rid of that decimal there and move it over 2 spots to right there. And then it says round to the nearest integer would be 3. I would round up. Did I have every answer on that? Did I do them all? Yeah, I did them all. Okay. All right, the automotive center guarantees customer service will take no longer than 20 minutes. If it does, the customer receives half off. What percentage of the customers receive the service for half off? It tells me it follows a normal distribution with a mean of 17 and a standard deviation of 3. And I'm putting this into a normal calculator, which I already have up. And it says longer than 20 minutes. So this is the value that I get. It says it wants percentage. So to get percentage, I got to move the decimal point over twice. And then it says round to 2 decimal places, which would be right here at that 6. That should round up to a 7. Part B said if the automotive center does not want to give the discount to more than 2% of its customers, how long should it make time limit? I'm trying to find out this box right here. That's what I want to know. And I want it to be below 0.2 or 2%. So it's giving me this number right here, 23.16, which means, and it says go to the nearest whole number. So I can either do 23 or 24. Try both of them. If I put in 23, I'm actually getting a little bit above 2%, which would be the around, but it doesn't give me the answer they want. They want below 2%, which means it's probably going to be the 24. The 24 is below 2%, so I'm going to say 24 minutes. And assuming I've done everything right, I can click submit quiz. And it told me what a great job I did, 100%. So what was that question that had the weird thing on it? It wasn't that one. It was number. What was it? Let's check 5. Maybe it was 5. 4. It was the hurricane one. No, it was this one. This is the one I did it, and I said it either wanted me to do X was less than 42 or X equaled 42, and I did X was less than 42, and it gave me the right one. So it did wanted 42 or lower on this one. Doesn't say that though in the sentence. So would it be unusual if 42 or less believe that the overall state of moral values is poor?
What calculator did you use for question 10?
Question 10 was a normal calculator.
How do you know when to choose normal and vital?
What?
How do you know when to choose a normal calculator? They're kind of the same.
No, they're not.
Or Poisson.
The problems will tell you on here. This says normal distribution on this one. On number 9, it said normal distribution.
Oh,
On number 8, it said Poisson. If it doesn't tell you, there's a good chance it's the binomial one. Binomial one, there's only 2 outcomes. So it often will give you a percentage chance of one of them being true. That's it. That's a walkthrough. I will scan this stuff and put it up on Zoom so you can watch it over the next couple of days to soak it up. And test is on Thursday in this 5 to 7 hour. I don't think we can have food in here, which sucks. If you want to have food beforehand, though, you're more than welcome to have it outside. It's empty out there. You can come early. I don't know if people are going to actually get here early, though, so I don't know how likely that is. Other than that, you're free to go. Yeah.